Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So before I even say a single other thing, yeah, there's going to be a lot more Final Fantasy XIV content coming, and I am also launching my website soon is the plan, and a lot of videos hinged on that website, and so there's going to be a lot more content, as well as I'm going to get a regular upload schedule up. But that's not going to be the topic of this video, and if all you want to hear was that, that's totally okay, and I totally understand if you click away. But I want to say and address the mammoth in the room. I have been gone for a little while. There's no denying that. It's almost reached a month since the last time that I last uploaded. And I'm I've been thinking about how to say things or what to say. And being honest, each and every single time it lands on the same note of I'm not really sure. And I'm still not sure. But I don't think that there will ever be a perfect time, really. And so, just through things, just through watching other content creators, some creators who I have never seen a single other video, one thing that I found is that a lot of us are really, really going through it right now. And I know that I'm not the only one with this. In fact, many people who reached out to me with concern, who I was likewise talking to, were also going through it. And so just checking out other videos, talking to people, one thing that I found, at least myself, could relate to, and found almost drew a lot of parallels between what I was experiencing, what someone else was experiencing, really kind of helped. I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous to say, but it was almost like a free therapy session where I didn't even need to talk. It was just like just hearing them talk and discuss what they were going through. I found was at the very least made me feel a little less alone through this entire situation, because heaven knows that it is an absolute disaster in so many ways. This year has been for all of us, not just some of us or a lot of us. I think for every single last person on this planet, it's had a lot of different challenges thrown at us, which leads kind of to questions of why was I gone? And I had so many people, I should say, like, people reaching out to me and like asking me how I was doing or what was up or was I okay. I appreciate every single last one of you. Honestly, every single whisper in game, every person DMing me on Twitter, every person DMing me in Discord, even if you haven't joined my Discord, which oddly enough, I'm not sure exactly how everyone found out my Discord name, but my point is, I appreciate all of that. And I've been about as okay as I can be. A big reason why I haven't uploaded videos is that, to be quite frank, I've been going through it. And I think that a lot of people, I'll say it this way, I think that a lot of people, when they're talking to someone who's going through something negative, want to say some platitude, which, whenever you say the word platitude, almost indicates it's not with good intention. I mean it like they say it with the best intention. But when they say the platitude of, oh, you're gonna have the best day of your life coming up ahead of you, or oh, things are gonna get better, I know many other people kind of look at that, and it's not that it doesn't even do nothing, it's almost that it just doesn't necessarily even make sense, especially just given what we've all been going through, and I know I'm not the only one in that regard. So pretty much the last few weeks I have gone up some days, and I think that I'm going to use the metaphor used by the user Ready to Glare, who is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I would say that their content definitely is content that inspires mine. Absolutely, 100%. They use a metaphor of basically it's like they feel like they wake up and that there's like two magnets that they're holding, one magnet in each hand, where the magnets are drawing to each other, and you're trying to hold them back, just knowing, or not even knowing, but feeling like if you let go and let these magnets snap together, that some really big catastrophe is going to go on and something really, really terrible is going to happen. And I definitely can say that I've felt that way for the past little while for sure. And when it comes to my content, I really tried to take a step back and say, okay, you're just hanging on today. Just get through the day. Just get through the day. It's not going to necessarily be a great day. It's not necessarily going to be a ruined day. Just get through the day. And that has gone on over and over and over again until the point where it's been almost a month of no uploads. And for me, I'm definitely a person who is aware that it's very easy to teeter-totter between the positive and the negative, and that I'm scared to sometimes be overly negative. So for me, I was like, hang on, don't do videos, just wait until things are better. But honestly, we've reached the point where it's like, I don't know if things will get better, but you know what? I can say a lot of things like, this community motivates me. This community is something that I value far more than money. It has given me so much so much friendship. I mean, so many opportunities to learn new things, to experience different aspects of life, and I am so thankful for it. But on the flip side, I'm just going to be super honest. There are certain activities and certain, I'll even use the word traditions, that I do, and as an introvert, I do sometimes like to get out. It's not that I like to always get out, but the certain few times that I do are incredibly precious to me. There are things that I'm now gonna start listing off, I guess. So first things first, and this is probably going to cost me a few subscribers, unfortunately, is that I have a boyfriend who I love very, very, very much, who is down in Oklahoma, and I'm just in the position where I cannot see him just because of everything going on with the virus and just the current political climate. Even it's not a position that I'm able to go and be with him, and it's kind of killed me inside because it's someone that I deeply, deeply care about, and someone who's going through their own struggles that are not mine to say and will not be said in a YouTube video. I can tell you that would be, if they ever choose to, on them. But I can say that it has really stripped me of not even just dignity, like that almost sounds selfish, but a lot of integrity to me, where that's something that I really value. It's just like, you know what, I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of knowledge, I don't think I'm that smart, I don't think that I'm that clever, I don't think I'm that manipulative. There are things that I don't think I am, but one thing I can say is that I desperately cling on to my integrity, and that I genuinely try my best to always hear people out, and that I genuinely try my best to always be there for people. And so when I see someone that I deeply care about for a very long time struggling, it really desolates me. And I can tell you that with some of the things that have occurred in the last few months, that if it wasn't for COVID-19, I would have booked a flight down there within, like, if it opened this minute, I'd book a flight within a minute. And so that has been a major joy kill. Another thing is that we are now successfully in late September. It is September 22nd when I'm recording this video, first thing in the morning. And summer came and summer blew by super fast. For whoever's not aware, I am in Canada and I am not living in BC. But BC is somewhere that I love to go to. It's where I was actually born and initially raised. It's a place that I love so much. I was specifically on Victoria Island and Vancouver, and it was amazing. It's somewhere, though, that I go very consistently. It's somewhere that I have been looking and saving up money for down payment for a very long time at this point, with the dream of eventually moving there, because it's just something that is so meaningful, and just like the forests that I walk down, just like the forests, the Bouchard Gardens, and all that. Like, these are things that might shock people. It's just like, hey, you're like into gaming and computers and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's so shocking. But that's what I kind of was getting at before. Is it's like I am introverted, but there are certain things that I really like doing, and that has clearly been canceled. Another thing is that there have honestly just been a lot of deaths between friends and family, and that's about as far as I want to go on that topic, because I promised that this video would be at least not too ridiculously like emotional. But and honestly, I think that I'm at the point where it's just like there's no tears left to cry. It's just like I feel like everything that could be said or done or cried out has been done many times over. um but the fact is that has been a incredible bummer, and to say that that wouldn't impact my content is a lie, because clearly it is. But to I think that this virus has impacted all of us in so many ways that it's sometimes horrifying, honestly, the things that I see where people are just going out, they're just throwing parties, they're just casually walking around like everything's fine. And heck, I mean, even consider the fact that now we have children going back to schools, and meanwhile we literally have a global pandemic right now that I know many people who I deeply cared about, who have lost their lives to it. And honestly, throughout everything, I can say that it's not that it's felt like one big day or one repeat of a day after another day after another day. It's been just through all the negative events that have occurred, kind of like just desperately wanting to break the spiral. And I just wish that things were different. I think that that's the biggest thing, because it feels like each week brings some new burden of bad news. And mind you, I was talking to my therapist about this just the other day. Is it's just like how I'm feeling right now isn't like literally depression, it is bereavement. Because it's just like, okay, this little piece of you is gone. Oh, this person that you really cared about, they're dead. Oh, this other person that you really cared about, they're dead. Oh, this friend of yours, oh, they tried to themselves. Well, it's just one thing led to another, where it's just like it's just come to the point where it's like I'm just trying to brace myself for the next bout of bad news. It's like, and another thing that has absolutely impacted me was I was at a position very recently that I was extremely proud of. It was a very prestigious position with a very big fancy title that honestly I couldn't have cared less for. I was really passionate about the work. And ultimately, just because of the virus and everything, that I was laid off from it, and that it was exceedingly painful, to say the least. Or let's take recent things. It's just like one other reason why I had to take a step back from videos was I'm still applying for jobs. I don't know if I've been super clear on this channel, but I'm not making much money from here at all. Like, I am still searching for employment and all that. It's just like some people claim, oh, you're only doing this for the money. No. I make a bit, like I can pay my sub, but if anyone's thinking that I'm just here for the money, like you're dead wrong. There's no other way to put it, and I laugh only because it's like I don't know what people are really expecting for 4,000 subs. I can tell you it's not as much as some people are thinking. But what I have to say with that is it's just I have talked to recruiters, and one of these recruiters I remember literally, and this was like 2-3 weeks ago, one of these recruiters on the phone was literally questioning if I was Canadian, because I was asking like, okay, so with this job, with this stipulation, there's not going to be any healthcare benefits. And I remember him questioning if I was Canadian and being like, oh, well, we're Canadian. Of course we get health care benefits. It's all paid for from the government. Why would you care if your employer gave it? And I know that most of my audience, actually, from demographics, is not from Canada. So at least where I live and have lived, like, yes, appointments to like a general practitioner physician or a family physician are going to be covered. Like if you go to a Medi Center, that will be covered. If you go to the ER, that will be covered. If you need an MRI, that will be covered. If you need some major surgeries, that will be covered. But there are a lot of things that are not covered through things. So things like therapy. Therapy, for instance, costs about $200 per session here where I live. And no, I'm not exaggerating. It costs $200 per single session. Where I live, I don't know the going rate, but I'm just going to list other things covered by benefits. It's usually things like anything prescription. So if you need an antibiotic for like a tooth infection, that isn't covered. If you need to go to physiotherapy, that wasn't covered for me. I injured my knee quite badly quite a few years ago now, and it was just doing very heavy squatting. I used to be squatting it wasn't that much. I mean, it's not a bragging number. It's not that much, but I was squatting about 320ish, and I absolutely wrecked my knee. I remember I could barely walk, and it was staggeringly embarrassing. I remember just the agony of it. It was terrible. But physiotherapy, not covered. There's just a lot of things that are not covered. Dental would be another one. Oh my god. Lest I forget that. And like a cleaning. I think that I just went for a cleaning for like $350 to $400 like a few weeks ago. Like that was all out of my pocket. That was not paid for by the government. And so all of these things add up to a healthcare package where it's like it was just so stunning to me that this recruiter was like, oh, you're not even Canadian. Oh, you're lying about being Canadian because you're asking about healthcare benefits. And I'm like, what? And then another thing that happened was there have been multiple job applications where I have been given a task to make a full stack software development application with a few different functionalities in it. Like one of them was autocomplete search. Another one was, baseline functionalities that you are literally making a database with a whole bunch of data in it, and this data is going to be searchable, and that this is going to be funneled through a .NET backend. And they were looking for Visual Basic, which is a language that I had to like figure out on the fly. And then they were expecting that to be piped to React front end, and they set a lot of expectations for like the standard of like how's it going to look and all this. I'm going to be blunt. Alongside the time limit, it was like a 1 week time limit. It probably took me to fully architect this from the ground up, to make sure that the code standards were there, to make sure that the unit tests were there, to make sure that the CSS was properly formatted, SCSS for anyone who wants to know, or SAS might be more familiar. It probably took me about 60 to 80 hours. And then I just got a rejection email saying that my solution is apparently too complicated. And I was like, what? I did exactly what you expected to have done using common design patterns. And they are common design patterns because it's like this, how many different ways are you going to do dependency injection with .NET Core? Or I don't even know. It was just quite a bummer to me because it's like 80 hours of work. Like, I don't even know how many videos I could get out with 80 hours of work. Or that could make the difference between me already having launched my website or obviously, as we are now, not. And so that was a major bummer. So it just took them like, I don't even know if it would take 2 minutes of just flicking through GitHub. Maybe they didn't even open the GitHub link, and just saying no. And that wasn't the only company that did it. There was another one that had a, thankfully, smaller scale project, but it was a full front end. It was a front end with a lot of complicated functionality in it, which was to be done with React with Redux. And so I did that with React, Redux, and TypeScript as specified. And yeah, and so that was an incredible bummer. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna end on that note because it's just like that employment thing. It's just a mucky mess, and it's really kind of sad because it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? It's just like I'm still a very recent college grad. It's been only like 2 years or something, and it's like I'm still young, and it's like I'm just trying to fight for future, and it's like it's feeling a little hopeless. I'm not gonna lie, but moving on from that, like I am definitely an introvert. I have been very open about like the fact that like I have been AR'd. I have like some trauma from being AR'd, and I've read comments that are just like, "What do you mean by AR'd?" I mean like non-consensually AR'd. There's I'm not allowed to actually say the words, but there is definitely some pain there. There's like stuff that I'm working through, but I I don't get excited for very many things. There are few things that actually genuinely get me excited anymore. I used to be a very excitable person. I used to be like follow the hype train. Oh, things are gonna be amazing. I'm gonna follow everything about this game. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. And then Dragon Age 2 came out. I'm joking. I'm joking. Dragon Age 2 is fine. But basically I'm just not that excitable. And the thing is, though, that there are a few things that I really, really do put my stock in. And those things matter so intensely dearly to me that when they don't pan out or when something doesn't go right, it just completely wins me. It's just like if you want to find a way to take the wind completely out of my sails, that would be 100% the way to do it. And so that has happened multiple times now. And for me, as I said before at the start of the video, and hopefully people understood or like got it for like the rest of my channel, it's just like for me, it's the community, it's the connections, it's the friendships that matter to me above anything and everything else. And there have been definitely people who have recently hurt my ability to connect with people in the community and with friends, and it has been a major bummer the past little while where it's like, oh, okay, well, that was one of the few things that I put a lot of stock into and really had hoped panned out, and I guess not. And then that spiraled into apparently that's unfair and unreasonable for me, and just a whole lot of nonsense that honestly doesn't apply to me. It was just so crazy. But the thing is just like it's kind of like the BC thing. It's kind of like visiting my boyfriend thing. It's like the will to connect to like the future and to try and get myself ahead, like with the BC house, with the down payment that I've been trying to save up, with career. It's just been one disappointment after another, laced in with deaths of friends and family. And so at this point, I'm at the point where I don't want anyone to tell me it's going to get better. I'm at the point where I don't want anyone to tell me, oh, you haven't lived the best day of your life yet, then you're going to live the best day of your life later. I'm at the point where I am just hanging on, doing my thing the best that I can, and it's just like that metaphor of the magnets. It's just like some days I wake up feeling like, oh, you need to do this and this and this, and just make sure that these magnets don't snap together because something's gonna go bad, which is obviously a freaking logical fallacy. 1,000% aware of it. But it's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna try and do my best. It's just like I'm not gonna shy away from uploading videos. I'm not gonna shy away from just being verbal about my experiences and my passions, because ultimately I care about this community, and if everything else, if more like everything else has, thank you, when everything else has gone to absolutely garbage, it's like, how to say it, career kaput, um friends and family, lots of deaths that I don't even know how to begin saying. I don't know if that's even kaput. When it comes to like a lot of obligations, like particular activities in Final Fantasy 14 with people that I thought that I could trust, and obviously they betrayed my trust in a very painful way. Kaput. Just there's just been so many things that have just gone totally off the rails, and it's just like I don't even want to be insulted anymore with like things are gonna get better, and I know no one means it as an insult, but it's like it's just a little beyond. But anyhow, enough of that. That's just meh. So I don't know, that's kind of where it's at. I think the way that I want to cap this video off is just like, I just hope that everyone's doing the best that they can, and I know that everyone is going through it. I know that this is a tough time for everyone. I know that everyone is absolutely being put through it, and I just wanted to say, like, you're really not alone, and that there are people that are willing to listen to you. There are people that are willing to help. There are people that are genuinely going through it too, and that I think that the best thing that we can do is to band together and to really unite together as a community. I think above all else, I think that's the most important thing, because you know what, I we all go through different experiences. I mean, I know some people who have been dying to visit family, and like, well, I'm fortunate enough to be around most of my family. I can relate to that because it's just like my boyfriend is way down in the southern states, and he's going through a lot, and I'm like, I wish that I could be there for you. And so ultimately, you're not alone. And I mean, I'm not a therapist, and I will never pretend that I'm a therapist. That's a job that I never want to have, if I'm being quite honest. But what I can say is that maybe if it helps you feel any better, it's just like, use the comment section down below. Like, just vent, just let it out. And I know that that can help a lot of people. I know that in the past it's been one of my go-tos. And while I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably don't have the answers. I don't even have the answers for myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. But what I can say is that I'm gonna read them, and that I'm here, and that I am alongside with all of you, and that, yeah, that's about all. Anyhow, this video got like 18 minutes longer than I expected. I was hoping just to hit the 10-minute mark, and no, not for mid-roll ads, because mid-roll ads are now at 8 minutes. I'm well aware. But basically, yeah, it's just like, I hope that everyone is feeling better, and that at least everyone can vent, at least. And I think that it's also important to say, like, reach out and talk to mental health resources, reach out to a friend. In fact, probably even better is reach out to both. And if you aren't familiar with the mental health services offered in your area, Google them. Google and see if you can get to group therapy sessions. Google and see if maybe there's a discounted student rate. Google and see if there's basically any option for you. Maybe there is some particular service that's like free for like 5 or so like initial appointments or something. But again, that's going to vary from state to state, and definitely from country to country, province to province, city to city, probably most likely. So I can't really just tell you like all these numbers. Anyhow, that is all for this video, and there is going to be more Final Fantasy 14 content coming out, as well as my website, and I just gotta get on the bandwagon and get that out. But I just want to get this video out there because I feel like I kind of, it's the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. What a corny but stupidly accurate line. So anyhow, that is all for this one, and I hope that you can forgive me for this video. Hope to catch you in the next one.